Hey, welcome to the 700 Club. We've got a great show for you today, but we start with the news that's we're all talking about. President Trump's promise to give the American people a Merry Christmas. It's another step closer to becoming a reality. The Senate is close to passing a tax reform plan. Possibly they might do it today.
Wow. Well, the president himself was back on the road Wednesday, saying the tax cut will boost the economy and your paycheck. Gary Lane brings us the story.
As the Senate debate on tax reform began, President Trump made one final push for approving the measure before a crowd in Missouri. The president again voiced optimism that a tax reform bill will be delivered to his desk for signing by Christmas. At a St. Louis rally, he said the country is on the verge of a thrilling new era of opportunity and growth.
The beating heart of our plan is a tax cut for working families. That's what it is. We're going to make sure that you keep more of your hard-earned money. We're going to make sure also that you have a job that you want. You're going to have choice.
But Democrats have chosen not to support the Republican plan. Debate began with a strong show of Republican Party unity, with every GOP senator supporting it. The vote came on straight party lines, 52-48. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer and the Democrats say the bill favors the wealthy.
If the president and Republicans in Congress set out to pass a middle-class tax cut, as they claim, if that's where they set out, this bill completely misses the mark.
President Trump insists the Republican plan will cut taxes by $2,000 for the typical American family of four earning $75,000 annually. The version of the bill already approved by the House of Representatives cuts the corporate tax rate from 35% to 20%. But some senators are considering only cutting it to 21% or 22%. That may help Senate Republicans gain enough support within their own party to pass the bill. Bumping the rate to 22% would raise another $200 billion over the next decade. That would help win the votes of Senate Republicans who want to expand the child tax credit and keep deductions for property and state income taxes. The president wants to keep the corporate tax rate at 20%, but Republicans expect he may likely sign a bill that slightly raises that rate.
We are going to be celebrating Merry Christmas again, and it's going to be done with a big, beautiful tax cut. Thank you, everybody. God bless you. Thank you.
Still to be worked out is language that would trigger automatic spending cuts or tax increases if Washington doesn't get as much money in taxes as expected. And if the Senate passes its bill, differences with the House will have to be worked out in conference committee. Gary Lane, CBN News.
As we said with David Brody yesterday, it's survival. Those guys know they have to survive. And if they don't pass this tax bill, they're not going to survive. And they know that. And so the American people will vote against them. They'll say, these guys, we put them in office to do something, and they're not doing it. So the Republicans in Congress are in the Senate are going to vote for this thing. This tax bill is going to pass, and it's going to be a great boon for the American people. And for the Democrats not to be on board, the next election, can you imagine the ads? This senator voted against giving you a tax cut, voted against the tax cut that you so richly deserve. He voted to take more money out of your pocket and keep it from your family. I mean, it's going to be a bloodbath. And the Republicans will get more members of the Senate, more members of the House, and they've got to pass the thing, and they know it.
You just made somebody's job really easy when you just wrote their political ad for them.
It's so easy. Wendy, I mean, can you imagine? You know, here in Virginia, the Republicans lost, and what did they lose on? One of the main issues was that this man who I'm running against supported cutting your Medicare payments and your health benefits, and they didn't have a chance to get the bill through and to show the benefits of what they had in mind. But instead of that, because they left an opening for the Democrats to go after them. And the Republicans, I just can't imagine the Democrats being so stupid. I mean, it really is it's going to be a death wish for them. And the Republicans, I think, are smart enough to realize they have to pass this thing. I mean, they've got to do it. It's not a question of if, maybe. It's they've got to, or they will lose their control of the Senate.
Yeah, I think a lot of them will, but there'll be a few holdouts, per usual.
They're playing on the edges, and so that's okay. I mean, Ron Johnson, he wants to help the little companies, which I'm all for. I mean, that's a good move, and so he said, okay, I'll negotiate. The others say, well, we'll negotiate. And they're playing on the edges, but the whole thrust is there's going to be major tax legislation, and not one Democrat is going to be voting for it. And we talked earlier, I just hope that Joe Manchin and some Heidi, what her name? I can't think of her last name. Heidi. Heidi Heitkamp. She's going to have to vote for it, and some of the others are going to have to, or they want to lose their seats. So it's going to be interesting. All right, now the other thing that's in the news, the North Koreans aren't talking about missiles that will touch Europe or touch Africa or touch South America. They're saying we have a missile and we have the latest iteration of nuclear warheads that will touch every city in the United States. The United States is to them their enemy, and they're the target of where they're going to go with this nuclear program. Now, unless we're crazy, we don't like being a target of somebody's nukes. They are announcing that we are the target, and they want to go after us. And that's not a pleasant situation. The president says he's going to handle it. Well, does that mean war? It may be, because Nikki Haley, the UN ambassador, says if the North Koreans do this, they will be obliterated. And she's right. But they don't seem to understand that. And Kim Jong-un, he may be just a little bit crazy. John Jessup has the story.
Well, thanks, Pat. The photos of the missile North Korea launched Wednesday are revealing a great deal more information about Pyongyang's newest nuclear threat. Experts say the missile is bigger and more advanced, and it comes with a mobile launcher, as you can see here. The launcher will make it harder than ever to destroy with a military strike. One researcher says only a few countries can make a missile this big. North Korean missiles need to be large to carry enough fuel to reach the United States. Now, even though the North says the missile can hit anywhere in America, it only may be able to reach the West Coast if it carries a real nuclear warhead instead of a dummy like the one it used in its test launch. And U.S. Ambassador Nikki Haley told the United Nations Wednesday that North Korea is pushing the world closer to war, and if war happens, the rogue regime will be, quote, utterly destroyed.
No one can doubt that this threat is growing. No one can doubt that North Korean dictator is getting more aggressive in his obsession for nuclear power.
Now, Haley also said China can cut off its oil supply, or the U.S. will take the oil situation, quote, into our own hands. Well, Vice President Mike Pence is sitting down with CBN News chief political correspondent David Brody for an exclusive interview today at the United States Naval Observatory. They'll discuss a wide range of topics, including tax reform, Pence's upcoming trip to Israel and Egypt, and a look back at the administration's accomplishments in 2017. The first part of the interview will air on the 700 Club tomorrow, with part 2 airing Monday. And we'll also have some excerpts from the interview on CBNNews.com this afternoon. Well, the U.S. could be facing a health crisis in the years ahead if a new prediction holds true. 57% of teens and children in America will be obese by the time they turn 35 if current trends continue. That's the finding from research published in the New England Journal of Medicine. It indicates being overweight as a kid carries over into excess weight and obesity in adulthood. Currently, about 40% of American adults are considered obese, and obesity leads to a wide range of diseases, including diabetes, heart disease, cancer, among other health-related issues. Pat?
We're looking at a medical holocaust. It will cost untold billions of dollars, hundreds and hundreds of billions. The United States population will get sicker and sicker. That means the health care is going to rise dramatically, and the incidence of the diseases of adulthood, diabetes, cancer, heart disease, and on, it's all in the formative stage right now. Why? We are feeding our children a diet that is killing them. And there is no question. You know, there's a book that I think very highly of that Dr. Furman wrote called Genocide. There was a food genocide. The fast food they're eating at these convenience stores is genocidal. What's being done with high fructose corn syrup is genocidal. And the amount of sugar going into our population is appalling. And we are killing our kids. And mothers, don't think you're being sweet when you give little Johnny some more cookies to eat or some sugar pops for his cereal. You're killing him. And it's time we change the way we eat. And if we don't do it, we're going to have a Holocaust. It's going to be unbelievably bad. And it'll probably happen after I'm gone. So it'll be the next generation. And I hope I'm training my children and grandchildren in appropriate eating. But Wendy, it's alarming, isn't it?
57% of the population. That is incredible. And, you know, you've traveled overseas. In some countries, like the Netherlands, you don't see fat people. Everybody's riding their bike. They're eating healthy. There's some places on earth where people understand that, you know, the body is a gift. It's the temple. And as believers, we should be in the best shape of everybody because we understand that our bodies are the temple of the Holy Spirit. So it's just confusing to me.
Well, again, the calories are hidden. This high fructose corn syrup, it's hidden calories, and it's very devastating. I have read, and they claim this isn't true, but I have read that the sweets in high fructose corn syrup are a bit more deadly than just ordinary sugar. Now, I don't know if that's the case. It's denied, but I think it's true that there are more pernicious what they do to people. And folks, you got to read the labels. You know, somebody brings something home from the grocery store, read the cotton picking label. And more than anything, go for fresh fruit and fresh vegetables. And of course, Dr. Furman is big on beans, and I'm big on beans. And I've got a lady, this cleaning lady, and she is a pretty good cook. And I said, I want beans. So she got some black beans and chops up some mushrooms and then put some onions and a little bit of garlic and what have you, and it's delicious.
And I had chili last night, so I was craving beans last night too. In the winter, it's a great time to eat a lot of beans, and Dr. Furman said they're the best thing you can eat, just about.
Our producer on this program, one of the producers, has lost over 50 pounds on that diet, and apparently it works like crazy. And of course, I weigh what I did when I was 15 years old, so it's working for me, too.
It's working for you.
We're going to stay healthy, ladies and gentlemen. I want you to be healthy with us. Let's live vigorously. Let's enjoy life, and let's stay alive. You know, the Lord said He'll give us long life and show us His salvation. So let's receive it, and let's look after ourselves. Okay, John, what you got next?
Well, amen to that, Pat. Well, Earth is going to be getting a visitor from space next month. A huge asteroid called 3200 Phaethon will pass within 6.5 million miles of our planet. The space rock is about 3 miles in diameter. NASA expects it to come closest to Earth on December 16th. Astronomers have tracked the asteroid's orbit since 1983 and don't expect it to pose a serious threat to Earth. But if an asteroid of that size ever does hit, it could cause untold damage. And Pat, I was reading earlier, the next time Phaethon is supposed to come this close to Earth is in 2093, when it's expected to be about 2 million miles away.
Well, that size is an extinctor, they call them. That would cause everything to be extinct on this Earth. I wrote a book called The End of the Age, and it was about an asteroid that came down and hit the Earth, and it was only 0.6 of a mile. It was 1 kilometer in diameter, and that was enough to destroy most of the Earth. So to have one that's 2 or 3 miles across would be an extinctor. There would be no life left on this planet if that hit us. So it's 1 million miles or so away. Let's hope it stays there for a while. But, you know, it shows how dependent we are on the Lord. If the universe is filled with all these rocks they're running around, and this is just a little old rock. It's not an enormous rock, But, you know, the Bible talks about, I saw an angel with a mountain, and a burning mountain, and he threw it to earth. That's all it would take to wipe us out. So we need God. We're always dependent on him, and don't ever think that we can do it alone, because we can't.